We need to keep it under 2 hours.
Recording on. My storage is low, but it's got nothing to do with me, so it doesn't matter.
Russ doesn't care. He's in Atlantis somewhere.
Yeah, I'm off somewhere. I'm drawing coal. I don't care.
Hey out there, it's Sunday here. Yes. Come on in.
It is.
We'll see you out there. Yeah.
It is.
I said that for everybody's benefit. It's Sunday. Sunday. That's right. That makes it the the 13th?
Sunday. Don't miss it.
Isn't it the 14th on Sunday?
Could be it is the 14th.
Is it the 14th today?
No, 14th. You're
Forgot.
right. You're
Friday the 13th was on a Saturday. That's right.
Yeah, it's 13th was yesterday.
13th was on a Saturday.
It's too damn early, I'll tell you that.
That's an old pogo. That's an old pogo thing. He would keep track every month, and then he'd pop up and say, "Hey, folks, Friday the 13th on Monday this week." Yeah. Anyway,
the 13th. On the 13th, it was the 54th anniversary of Apollo 13 taking off. How about that one?
Wow.
Yeah. Folks, this is an episode of Sunday Funnies. Let's run the opening, and we'll get right into it. Here we go. We probably don't need to run that cull trailer, do we? That cull campaign's over.
No,
Thank you so much.
The cull campaign is over. It's incredibly successful. Thank you, everyone.
Incredibly.
I think you should show it anyway.
So we'll show it. We'll make sure it's on. Right.
Russ Pinocchio.
That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And
it is crazy.
And Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
Maybe if you use that voodoo witchcraft on your own trade,
you murdered
find somewhere on the other end of the snake pit. I mean, do you know what a revolutionary soldier looks like? Have you seen photographs? Have you seen paintings? Have you seen charcoal sketches? I haven't seen them either.
That's right. Sunday sketches. Yeah. You seen charcoal sketches? I haven't seen them either.
Charcoal sketches now.
That's right. That Uncle Scrooge that's at the front was what we were talking about off camera. I've been looking for that. Been looking for that issue for a while.
Okay. It's the same all the time, right? You don't add new funnies to that. New funny books.
I do every once in a while, but that opening's
It's
been
the
there
same
forever.
opener every time, right?
Okay. No, I've got a second opening. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you got to have a backup
folks.
plan,
Adult
right?
program here. Hey.
Sorry, that is things that
Whoa,
a sexist would say.
You are canceled, sir.
Cancelled from what? What's left to be cancelled from, everybody?
I know, but it's scorched earth out there, folks.
Do your
Very
thing.
scorched earth.
Buy
Do what you need
independent comics, folks, like Hatch,
I need
Shadow
to show
Kingdom,
this today.
Yeah,
anything from Arrow Comics.
Yeah, look at that.
Arrow Comics is still up there. Soul Tack. The Fool is still there. AR13L just passed 20,000 at fundmycomic.com. Fundmycomic.com. AR13L. It's a great Arrow comic. Just past the 20,000 mark.
It's not potatoes.
It's not potatoes. No chat reading today, folks. This program's been pre-recorded, so be on your best behavior. Thank you very much. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my stuff over at arrowcomics.store. Go over there and take a look. You can see HeroBot Zero, Paragon, Calico. There's all sorts of great different comics over there, and we appreciate your business. All of that material available at the store is available for shipping immediately, so you won't have to wait for it. It'll be right at your door in a couple of days. So arrowcomics.store or in your email, because we offer a couple of PDFs over there as well. So hope you can go over there and enjoy those. I got a couple of Spank the Monkey PDFs available over there. First time they've been available in color. So go over there and take a look. Also joining me today is Glenn Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself. Got to learn to what? Rex.
Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, illustrator, and publisher. And I've been writing for, I think it's about 4 million years now. I've got lots of stuff on Amazon and all over. Just put my name in Google, you'll find me. But if you go to Fund My Comic, you can find my latest thing, which is my character Hatch annotated book, which details his origin and shows you unpublished artwork and published artwork. And even just while you're there, even he met Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
And how long have you been drawing Hatch? How long have you been drawing Hatch now?
Since 1987.
Brilliant.
So there you go. So go to Google, put my name in, go to Amazon, go to New Haven Publishing, and you'll find my stuff.
Also with us today is Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Russ Leach. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks for coming.
I'm comic book
also with us today.
See you later. I'm back. Okay. I'm still Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. You can find out all about me at russleach.com. All my social medias are there. All the connections to my books are there. If you go there, you can get a connection to Fund My Comic, and you can see just how well the Shadow Kingdom, which is our latest project, did. We're very, very pleased. Right at the moment, we're past 200 backers, and that may well have increased for this amazing Sunday show. So,
over 200 backers. Yes.
Over 200 backers. So, but sign up for the email list, because we've got lots more to come. We want to keep everybody abreast of what's going on, the latest projects. We won't fill your inbox up. We'll just tell you once a month what's going on. So sign up there for the email list at russleach.com.
Oh, you silly, simple bastard.
Also joining us is Rex. Rex, introduce yourself. Or not.
Guys, over there on Fund My Comic as well. Devil Flyer.
Devil Flyer.
Devil's Weapon. 48 epic page magazine size book with an artist edition and all kinds of stuff. I do daily show, but I'm here now.
All right.
That's all.
Getting the camera set up. Yep.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm here for the food.
Here for the food. That's all in the back of the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's
Charles
why I'm losing weight. Just to let you know. Oh yeah,
He's backstage, Randy.
Is he? He's not backstage here.
No, I just saw. Oh,
no,
I'm looking at my messages came. What is Facebook doing?
It was a gremlin.
Is Charles there?
It's gone mad today. No.
Allison's there. If you can come in, you're welcome in.
I have some 2000 IDs with this material in it, but it was like Eagle Comics or Fleetway. We didn't mention Fleetway. Fleetway did some of the UK reprint type stuff.
Yeah, before Titan.
We mentioned Eagle, Fleetway, and what was the other one? We mentioned it last week.
Eagle in 2000 AD with the Titan.
I had mentioned
Titan are publishers.
Here it was Sal Q, Quality Comics.
Oh, Titan.
Wasn't 2000 AD IPC?
Quality, right?
Yeah. It started off IPC.
But I had totally forgotten about Fleetway. I was looking through some of my collection and came across a Fleetway.
I have that book as well. Okay.
I gotta go cameras. There we are. Darn thing.
Wow, that looks like Randy Zimmerman.
Yep, just tightening up the camera here just a little. There it goes.
Comedy relief, Clint. I'll get there one day.
It's transparency, folks.
It's all up.
Never give up. Never give up.
Alan Davis is using some quite thick lines in here. So
yes. It's a lot of fun.
It's not what you usually get out of Alan Davis.
Girthy lines.
Yep. Alan Moore, Alan Davis, DR and Quinches.
What a way!
Totally awesome guide for life.
What a way! kind of get a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibe to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's 2000 AD. There was a lot of British humour,
right,
in it.
Yeah.
You know, it was subversive and very funny in places. 2000 AD had a great.
So kind of like our National Lampoon back in the day.
No.
No.
So it was far more subversive than anything you guys had.
No.
Yeah, I'd say its attitude was more like underground black and white comics in the UK, in the US.
There you go.
It was like that, but in a mainstream title. With,
it was more like the Crumb stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's more akin to Crumb than it is to anything mainstream, and it was subversive. There's no other way of.
Some of the alternative fanzines were rugged like this, but they didn't have the talent pool that Pat Mills found.
No,
to work on this.
The talents that came through here. I mean, when was this? Would have been around 83.
So real
84.
critical of. Real critical of the government.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Well,
is that
everything?
What you're saying?
It wasn't. Yeah, I mean,
everything.
When you say critical of the government, it didn't do gags. Okay, it was pure science fiction that had analogy and did it well. You know, I mean,
a lot of social statements, a lot of social commentary. A
lot of social commentary. I mean, Judge Dredd. This is a time of Margaret Thatcher after we had a terrible Labour government, and that's not a political opinion. That's just the facts of what happened.
It was. Yeah,
what it was. You know, there's right wing and there's right wing, you know, depending on your viewpoint. But obviously there was a flip flop between the way things were, and things were actually, certainly from an economical perspective, was starting to get better. So people were buying comics, but it had a subversive element. So it'd come out of, I mean, obviously when 2000 AD first came out, we were solidly in Labour territory. I think it was 77 or something like that before Thatcher got in. But this, what we're looking at here, is kind of like 82, 83, 84, somewhere around that area. And throughout that whole period, it had come out of punk. Like, punk was heavy. I mean, proper punk, British punk was heavy, you know, at the end of the 70s. And then you were moving through a completely new era in the early 80s. And 2000 AD was jumping all over.
Sex Pistols.
And huge amounts of social commentary in it. And when you have a character like Judge Dredd, who everybody is loving and everybody is on the side of, and yet he is an absolute fascist, okay? And it's a fantastic subversive twist in the tale of just the character, let alone the stories themselves. 2000 AD was, I believe, is unique. I don't think anybody else has managed to do what 2000 AD did. In the same way that nobody else managed to do quite the same as what Mad comic did. They're two different animals, but they're both subversive in their own way. And 2000 AD did it.
That's kind of what you're aspiring to do with your books.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, not quite as.
Well, I've heard you say that
AD did it.
I've heard you say that you see a lot of emulation out there. I'm sorry, there must be a delay.
Of emulation of what?
Well, I've heard you say on this before I came on here that there's a lot of people say I want to be different, and then they come out with their projects and it's pretty much a rehash of what's come before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a huge amount of that. You're absolutely right. There is a lot of that. You know, people want to be different. They want to say, I'm different, I'm unique. You know, but you're not. You know, what you've got to do to a degree, especially with comics, is lean into the fact that you are standing on the shoulders of giants that have come before you. There's no point in trying to just wipe the board and say, no, they don't exist anymore. This is the new form of whatever I'm doing or whatever we're doing as an industry or a medium, and it's better than that. Don't do that. So you've got to take it all in, okay? But then at the same time, just copying what other people have done or coming up with an idea in your toilet and then, you know, not doing any research and realizing that somebody else has done it a lot better than that several times before. You know, you got to put some thought and some process into it. But I don't think anybody really emulates 2000 AD. It was a moment in time, a long moment from 77 to mid 80s.
We would say it's off the chain.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And 2000 AD doesn't do the same thing anymore. It's got some admirable stuff in it, but it doesn't hit like it used to.
From my perspective, I thought 2000 AD was more of an evolution or a modernization of the Silver Age at Marvel, where they were trying to break a lot of ground and do a lot of different things, which they did, grow comics up quite a bit. But here, Pat Mills and the talent that he finds creates a series of science fiction IPs that are just amazing. Instead of superheroes and using that as their storyboard, they use science fiction. So you've got Judge Dredd, a cop in the future. You've got Rogue Trooper, a soldier in the future. And you've got DR and Quinch here, which are two hardcore anarchists in the future fighting the system.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Strontium Dog,
those three stories in themselves are subversive.
Very much so, but but they're the key there is that they're building brands, they're building IPs this whole time. DR and Quinch was very recognizable at the time, and stuff like Rogue Trooper, Robo Hunters, and Nemesis, and that kind of work was just their own series. Slain is another example. Very recognizable, very individual, almost an individual look, but they had a number of different artists working on certain properties. Like you never knew who was going to draw Judge Dredd until you picked up 2000 AD and looked into it.
No. I think, from my perspective, I understand what you're saying about the brands and what have you, but I think the biggest similarity between this and like early Marvel is that the artists and writers were there to create comics.
Yeah.
That was what they were all about. Yes, they did make brands, but that's not what they were about. They were about telling great stories and producing fantastic artwork.
Obviously they didn't do it specifically to get more movies out or TV series. That's wasn't what they were thinking, but they did it to gain more readers. Everybody wanted to read more Rogue Trooper. Everybody wanted to read more Judge Dredd, and they just kept feeding them stories as they went along.
What was great.
Sorry to interrupt you, Glenn.
Sorry, Glenn. I'll just finish my point. What was great about 2000 AD was the inventiveness of it. It was always coming up with something new. They were always throwing something at the wall and seeing if it stuck. And that was what they were great at.
Yep.
I think that we should
a little bit like
on this. The what?
Go ahead, Glenn.
We must have a delay. I was just saying a little bit like heavy metal.
A bit.
Almost Marvel and heavy metal mixed.
Go, Glenn. Go. Well, there's a gap.
I think the point to me is that superheroes are a very American thing. We don't have any superheroes as far as I can see. And we were brought up on, the Beano and Hotspur and all that sort of stuff, which was all Second World War stories and cartoon strips and stuff. And Marvel came along with their they were there before Marvel, but you understand that we're talking about the 60s. I don't think Pat Mills was anywhere near trying to mix anything up. I just think, like Russ said, I just think he was doing fantastic stories and all the artists were there. Nothing to do with trying to be with anybody else or whatever. These are British comics. These are British strips. And the Fantastic Four and Captain America and all that, they're American. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's any sort of background thinking to undermine or underscore.
Oh, no.
I think we have an affinity. Our comics have an affinity with science fiction as well. Like a lot of our
like Dan Dare and all that.
yeah, TV21, but right back to Eagle, and then moving forward, and I think that's where our talents were. I mean, you right the way, you even look at some of the stuff that's been on the TV, like some of the short science fiction dramas and stuff that we've had over the years. Day of the Triffids, even, that's the kind of stuff that was very popular, in those periods of time. And like you say, Glenn, like, the States did superheroes and the UK did science fiction, I think, as far as comics were concerned, popular comics.
Boys comics.
Mostly
I think
aimed at
comics,
male audience. Yeah.
I think, again, it was mainly Kirby that took it into science fiction, because if you look at the FF, they're fighting communists and stuff like that at the beginning, like Captain America was, early 60s stuff, that's about the commies and all that. And then when Kirby was unleashed,
Cold War.
Cold War, the Fantastic Four went into science fiction, as did the rest of it.
But I think deeper than that are the archetypes. So like Superman, Captain America, even Spider-Man, like Thor, and the archetypes that are involved in telling superhero tales, whether they're in space or whether they're on the ground, they're different to the archetypes that they used in 2000 AD.
Well, you have a different contextual
kind of character.
viewpoint.
Yeah, a very different kind of character, and that was something that 2000 AD did very well.
Yeah, I don't think they could be further away from each other.
Sorry?
We had, like, growing up, dual storytelling, like Jay Ward, Rocky and Bullwinkle. The adults would get it. Fred Flintstone. I'm just equating it to my experience with cartoons, because looking at them then as a kid, I appreciated and didn't all get all the jokes and context. And looking at it as an adult, I appreciate it for what, from an adult point of view, it had a dual thing going on there.
I mean, I was picking this up
if I read UK comics, I'm not going to get all the context, all the jokes, because I'm not in your culture. And it's the same way, I think, if you read some American comics.
Yeah, but it's but at the same time,
some of the subtext
you shouldn't write down to your reader whatever age they are,
right?
And that's something I think that was something that they did in the 60s in Marvel. They didn't write down; they just wrote a great tale.
Yes,
and even more so in 2000 AD. It was like I was getting the subversive nature even at the age of 10 when I was reading this stuff. So it's just, there's a lot of clever writing in this stuff.
This artwork is phenomenal,
isn't it?
A lot of high quality in general.
It's great.
Stories are funny.
I love that vehicle.
Yeah. Just a couple of anarchist kids running around causing trouble. DR and Quinch, right?
I think.
No, that's all you need. You need just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B, and they do that already in like 2 pages to start the story.
There has to be some sort of delay working on the recordings. Yeah.
Not working.
No.
Yeah, we're talking over each other accidentally. All the
a
time.
lot more than usual. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Glenn. You were going to say something.
I can't remember now. Did Alan Davis ever draw any of the American superheroes?
Oh yeah, he had a huge run on Batman and the Outsiders.
The Excalibur,
at Marvel for many years.
Didn't he?
Yep, I'm pretty sure he did.
I must have left by then. So
Avengers.
Unfortunately, he did that run with Captain Britain, which I didn't like, because I didn't like connecting it up to the X-Men, and I didn't like the costume, to be honest. I just didn't like it. But his artwork was fantastic. So.
What's he doing now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Pulling down a rather nice pension, I would imagine.
I know he did a mini series of Killraven.
Like Russ said,
there for a little bit.
Killraven. Mm-hmm. He did a Killraven.
Oh yeah, that was in the early 2000s.
Short run. Yeah, short run, maybe 6 to 10 issues.
I have all of 6
issues.
Yeah, I showed my 6 issues the other day. Those used to be owned by Roger Stern. Part of my Roger Stern collection I own.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, onward. De'Aaron Quinch.
I like the way he's signing his name on that pillar at the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
In ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
There's lots of that in this. Yeah. There's lots of that in this. It's really good.
Some really nice use of blacks in this, isn't there, from Alan Davis?
Oh,
really
very much.
Isn't it?
Spot blacking is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And you consider that he's probably in his mid-20s when he's doing this.
How did he do the grade? Did he do a wash on this for the grays, like on the vehicle, and maybe in the background on the second page?
They're all lines.
Just a thinner line.
Cross-hatching and lines, yeah.
Sweet.
Nice lighting on that right-hand page of the second panel down. Really nice.
Around the fire. Yeah, that's cool.
And again, look, he's spraying his name on the wall again. They're all drawing spacemen on the wall, and he's drawing.
That's an actual image, isn't it? There's a similar image to that on walls somewhere, and he's looking at the
it's
big
in
fella
France,
going,
isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of what he looks like.
It's the what's he called? The science I can't remember his name. The guy, Chariots of the Gods.
Oh, Chariots of the Gods. Yeah.
Von Däniken,
spaceman.
Däniken,
that kind of spaceman was in his book.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Alan Davis studied under?
No.
Kind of apprenticed with.
The thing is, there's a lot of British artists didn't study under. We didn't have the same process that you had. Like in America, you had studios, and people would get mentored. And I think a lot of these guys that turned up in 2000 AD were just art students or freelance illustrators.
Yeah.
Is that guy Brian May?
I think it's actually.
I mean, look at these 2 pages.
He may have a guitar.
Yeah.
These 2. There's a lot to unpack in just these 2 pages. A lot going on.
Yeah.
Davis began his career in comics on an English fanzine. His first professional work was a strip called The Crusader in Fantastic magazine for Des Skin's revamped Marvel UK line. Davis's big break was drawing the revamped Captain Britain story in Marvel Superheroes. At the time, he was working full-time in a warehouse in Corby, doing work that included loading trucks. He initially had no interest in pursuing a career in comics, as he considered drawing to be a hobby. Due to his inexperience, Davis didn't leave enough room for word balloons in the 5-page first installment, so it had to be recut to 6 pages. Afterwards, Alan Moore took over writing duties on Captain Britain. Davis drew 14 issues of the monthly Captain Britain title, which was later reprinted in trade paperback. Davis and Moore formed a close working partnership as creators and also created De'Aaron Quinch for 2000 AD. Later, Davis replaced Gary Leach, no relation, on Marvel Man in Warrior. Yet again, worked with Moore. He also drew the story Harry 20 on the High Rock in 2000 AD. Then in 85, he came to the state, or he didn't come to the States. He started working for DC, Batman and the Outsiders, written by Michael W. Barr. He took over from Jim Aparo, who launched the direct version of the title. His work proved popular enough to have him assigned to artistic duties to DC's flagship Detective Comics in 86. During the Batman Year 2 storyline, however, Davis encountered difficulties with his editor and left. after the first issue of the 4-issue storyline. The remaining 3 were illustrated by Todd McFarlane. In the story, which featured Joe Chill, the murderer of Batman's parents, Barr wanted Chill to have a large gun. He asked Davis to draw him with a Mauser with an extended barrel, similar to the one used by the Paul Kirk version of Manhunter. However, Davis rendered Chill with a firearm with this firearm throughout Detective Comics 575, and on its cover, he obtained copies of the pages for Batman 404 by Miller and Mazzucchelli, which was scheduled to be released months before the Year 2 storyline, and saw that Chill was depicted using a smaller handgun without the extended barrel. When asked by editorial to redraw the gun in his artwork, Davis refused. Giordano redrew the gun in the artwork. Davis accepted an offer by Uncanny X-Men writer Claremont to work on Marvel Comics X-Men books. With Claremont, Davis drew 2 New Mutants annuals and 3 issues of Uncanny X-Men in '87. The duo launched the monthly series Excalibur, which featured a team consisting of Captain Britain and Megan, together with former X-Men members Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, and Rachel Summers. The stories in England saw appearances by many characters from Moore and Davis's Captain Britain stories of the early 80s, including the Crazy Gang and the TechNet. Davis's pencils were inked by Paul Neary and later Frank Farmer. Davis left with issue 24 due to deadline pressures, but returned with issue 42, this time also as writer. During the second run, according to Davis, editor Terry Cavanaugh spoiled me, gave me near total freedom, and encouraged me to experiment. Among the new characters he created for his second run on the title were Furon, Charisse, Micromax, and Kylun. In '94, Davis created a new series of original characters called The Clandestine, which featured the Destinies, a family of long-lived magical-powered British superhumans. Davis wrote and penciled the title for the first 8 issues. He departed after issue 8, and the series was canceled with issue 12. In '96, Davis wrote and drew 2-issue crossover miniseries X-Men and The Clandestine. '91, Davis reunited with Barr to write a prequel to Year 2, the one-shot Batman Full Circle, during which the '90s, Davis drew many of Marvel and DC Comics' major characters and titles, including Justice League, The Nail, and The Avengers. He was also commissioned to write both main X-Men series in '99, providing art for X-Men as well, but he left the following year. Starting in October 2002, he wrote and drew for Marvel Killraven, a 6-issue miniseries revamping the character from the '70s. After a return to Uncanny X-Men, working again with Claremont, Davis wrote and drew in 2006 and 2007 a 6-issue Fantastic Four: The End, a limited series for Marvel, not to be confused with a similar one-shot written by Stan Lee and drawn by John Romita Jr. In February of 2008, Davis wrote and penciled a 5-part Clandestine miniseries and the one-shot Thor, Truth of History for Marvel. Davis's most recent work was seen in Totally Awesome Hulk, numbers 7 and 8, and Thanos Trilogy. That's 2018-2019, and a reunion with Roy Thomas in 2019 for 2 issues of Savage Sword of Conan, number 10 and 11. Davis and his wife Heather have a son, Thomas, and a daughter, Pauline. Go ahead.
He's been around the block then.
If I
that's pretty much his biography Davis, there.
I'm going to tell him. If I ever meet Alan Davis, I'm going to say, hey, man, you're a pretty nice hobbyist.
Yeah. Pretty good for a hobbyist.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, QUINCH there. Sweet. Love that.
That explosion there, that planet blowing up is fantastic.
It's good, isn't it? Really looks like really it's been blown up from the inside out. Yeah.
I mean, I have to
the sequence of panels here.
Work one of those.
Fun. Ernest Errol Quinch, and Waldo Dobbs, also known as DR, or diminished responsibility. He goes and he reads all of their offenses. And that DR here says, excuse me, but what is the appellation and litter judicial and this complete and litter judicial dirtwad? Huh? The judge, I'd like to take a note of his name. It's Judge Dark One, and he writes it down. It says, thank you. They go and I think attack his house when they're done here. Something like that. They mess him up real bad. Thank you. And that's,
I know they're in court, but it almost looks like a game show.
Yeah, it does.
It's funny the way Quinch, is it like what is he eating? He's eating something. And then the guy on the left just faints because it's too much for him.
Oh, he takes the bandages off of his chin.
He's taking the plaster off his chin and he's eating it.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh.
Like little band-aids. It's like,
But I'm bummed.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful on the next page. You've got a lovely full page splash. All the aliens.
Yeah.
You got to love the title.
Yeah, and Quinch goes straight.
Yeah.
Hang them.
Is that a noose?
Yeah.
In silhouette?
Yeah, there's also one hanging over the balcony.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Hang him.
Very nice.
Yeah, over the banister there. Yeah. On the other side.
The judge here says, perhaps you should be given a second chance to demonstrate a shred of decency. Report back here in a month with proof that you have performed honest and charitable work in the intervening time, and we'll see about reducing your sentence by a century or so. Case adjourned.
That's a long time, folks.
So, of course, they go straight after this. Straight into trouble. I can honestly say that he is the most interesting adult I have ever met. That's it.
It's just every alien's different. It's great.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful imagination.
You can tell they're having a lot of fun. That's the thing. Nice thick line work here. Little note. He'd have been really good on Legion of Superheroes. Been fun to see him do.
Yeah, it's like a George Perez, isn't he? He likes to get 15,000 characters in one panel.
At certain times, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's that bothered by a deadline. Just kicking it out. Look at that crowd. Just crazy. Like I said, you can tell
something else to point out about UK artists is that they do pencil and inks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing that, artists over here were doing that when it wasn't trendy or when it wasn't required by American comics, where you had pencilers and inkers. Most people tended to ink their own work.
Also, in the 2000 TV 21 strips, Bellamy and Matt Noble and those people were doing the lettering as well.
Oh yeah,
so they were doing complete artwork. They were doing complete artwork where, like in America, it was a production line, wasn't it, basically?
Well, a lot of the comic strips were one-man shows with maybe an apprentice. But since the golden age of comic books, it's always been assembly line. for the most part. Very rarely would somebody do a solo story, and that's why they had those big studios running. Simon and Kirby had a studio. Eisner had a studio. They, had folks that were just kicking stuff out. Everybody had an individual job.
It does make sense if you've got heavy schedules.
Yeah.
Because you can hand off stuff to other people once you've done your bit.
You're right, but it falls.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Russ is right, but it falls down when Vinny gets hold of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
when you get the wrong person on the assembly line, yeah.
Yeah.
How many issues you have to see before it's not working? But anyway.
I blame Henry Ford.
But Vinny got plenty of work though.
Yeah, well, he was the go-to guy for Monday morning, wasn't he?
So you got to look at the editors, really.
Yeah, very true. Just make the lines darker. Anyway.
Darker.
It's all out of focus, Randy. Can you...
Is that better?
No.
Simple. No.
Looks cleaner here. How's it there?
Yeah, I think there's because where we were talking over each other, I think there's some kind of issue with Tinternet today.
Well, it's throwing it down here. I don't know whether that's got something to do with it.
We're not hearing Rex at all. He's been talking this whole time.
Is he? Oh, I haven't heard him.
That's not a bad thing.
There you go. That'll do.
Rex, are you there? It's a stupid signal, I think.
Yeah, signal's bad today.
There. I can see it. Can you see it?
That's great, yeah.
All right.
I think the main thing I see with Alan Davis's work is what I say most of the time is that he can just draw, can't he?
Mm-hmm.
He just knows how to do it. It's great. He's spotting the blacks. He's fantastic. His characters, everything. It's just great stuff.
He's got his own individual look too.
Yeah. He's very he's got his own style. You can pick out Alan Davis out of other people's works. I was never. Alan Davis wasn't like in my top 5.
No.
He never was. I think he's got a look to his work that I don't always appreciate. But you can't deny just how damn good he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his style lends itself to more to the American style than a British style. If I'm honest, but I do like it.
Certainly lends it to this. I mean, he absolutely nailed this. And looking at this compared to the way that he drew Batman, for instance, there is a difference.
Oh, he had more time with this. A lot more time.
Yeah, this is grittier, I think.
Yeah. It's also younger, earlier in his career.
Yeah.
But by the time he got Batman, he'd done a run on Outsiders.
Yeah.
So he had quite a few more pages under his belt. Plus, this is a funny, gritty strip. I mean, there's a lot of very friendly violence in these stories.
Friendly violence.
Yeah.
Friendly violence.
Kind of like Looney Tune type violence. He's blowing stuff up and they're killing people, and but in a funny way. Very much like Looney Tune violence.
What's Steve Potter doing now? Is an underrated letterer.
Yeah.
Is he still is 2000 AD still being published, Ross?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I think it is.
I've not seen it.
Definitely not the same though. Yeah,
it's not the same anymore.
No,
it's not the same thing.
I think it's sneaked under the radar, isn't it?
Well, it's one of those. It's like comics in general. Nobody really cared until it caught on.
Yeah, then paying attention. Yeah.
Then suddenly they did care. You know, what we called it.
Somebody said, "Have you seen this? We should stop this."
We called all kinds of names for this, but 2000 AD it softened. It's become mainstream, and
look at the way. Sorry.
To say it's just become mainstream because of that. It's just not as good as it used to be. It's as simple as that.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, really,
kicking the door.
Yeah,
kicking the door in, just smack.
Kicking the door, and he's got it in his hand. I found this.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
What really happened is they had a change in rights ownership, and the creators before had a percentage of ownership in the rights of the characters and the brands that they were doing. And then IPC, or Rebellion, one of the guys in the when was it, in the late 80s, I think it was, early 90s, they went through and changed the rights so that IPC owned everything, and you saw the creativity just drop through the floor.
Yeah, but I think the most recent stuff isn't just that. It's the people who are writing it and the kind of people that get picked up. We've seen this throughout the comics industry in America.
In general,
it's not just an American thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with having lots of different stories with lots of different people, but again, it becomes monotheistic. It's just one type of view, and that's the end of it. And it becomes a bit dull and flat after a while because people aren't sort of doing something a bit dodgy, you know, a little bit weird, a little bit subversive. Just because of the sake of the art, you know, just like making something different. And you just, you know, you read the odd story and you just sigh. You just think, oh, it's just the same as it all, you know, just the same as all the rest of the stuff. I'll be honest, I haven't read it. I haven't read it in a couple of years, so you know, maybe they've changed and it's fabulous now. But when I did read it, I had a subscription for a year or two, and then I stopped because it just became a bit sort of dull, to be honest.
Well, also they got rid of their rawness when they switched from newsprint to slicker paper and all color. I think that took away a lot of that edge.
But all comics, I mean, you know, we could be accused of being old and crotchety and not prepared to change. I like newsprint. I like old comics like that. I like 2000 AD just the way it was. You know, and things change, things adapt. I think at the end of the day, it's the core stories.
I like the high you get off the smell.
Your microphone's way up, Rex.
It's the core stories that are most important.
I was real close.
So, you know, so that's what suffered, I think.
Yeah.
There's certainly nothing like this in there anymore.
No.
Not the last time I read it anyway, so.
Well,
there was a lot of
back newsprint.
Yeah, there was a lot of just general rawness in that title. Good quality, but there was a lot of rough edges in that really added to the charm of the work too.
Yeah,
but like you said, the subversiveness of it.
Yeah, but even what you've got there, Randy, you've checked the paperweight, like just the poundage. On that, that's effectively like I did Only Death Can Save Us. It's like about 120, 130 or whatever it is. It's around 90 to 100 GSM UK weights, and it's not newsprint, but it's still a lovely weight. Do you know what I mean? It's still a really nice way to present a strip.
It's not a solid bright white either.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's about a 50 pound.
It's about 50 pound, is it? You know, even in this representation, you know, in like a compendium like this, it's still a lovely way to present.
Oh yeah, but that's Titan though. These Titan reprint books are amazing anyway. They're just good,
I mean,
good stuff.
This This particular one must have been 90s. Oh, this the one I've got is 1988.
The copyright on this is 86 on my
yeah.
my
No,
version.
I meant the book. The copyright is 86, but the my print is 1988. So it's I don't know where it's on the back, right on the back, bottom, right at the bottom on the back.
Copyright Titans 86.
Oh, so yours is 86. So yours is 2 years younger than mine. Yeah, mine's 88.
Okay.
Yeah.
86.
So and you look at the pages, and they're not yellow particularly. I mean,
they're nice white.
There's a little.
They're still
Yeah, they're still bright. Lovely to look at.
Yep.
If something's presented in slick fashion, it's not as. I mean, if you're doing an artist edition or something like that, and it's supposed to be high dollar, okay, but there's something about the disposable old, not really that nicely printed. When you go back and look at the stuff, it wasn't precious, but it was valuable to you. It was cheap entertainment, or I mean, from the pulps all the way up.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's kind of alluring to the collector,
I think it's another thing that the direct market really spoiled the art form on, because once the direct market sprung up, they started paying attention to paper quality and slickness and, doing more.
Try and add extra value.
Work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
just more cosmetic, isn't it?
Russ, did you see over on
exactly cosmetic value, Glenn? You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rex.
Russ, did you see over on Fund My Comic there was a project that, and I wanted to do this too. I mean, you've seen distress covers, but this had like yellowed pages in the artwork. I mean, maybe done digitally, I don't know, but it had like folded pages, crease, breakage of color. It was grunge, and it was lovely.
I didn't see that aspect. I'm pretty sure I saw filters where they were making pages look old, which is kind of fun.
They got a great filter now that'll reduce the color down to dot patterns, just like the Silver Age, the old Silver Age books, and you can displace one of the plates in order to give it that real Silver Age feel to it.
I did that and put a page up, and somebody was complaining about how crap the color was.
Yeah.
Isn't it great how all this new technology comes along and just simply tries to reproduce what we were doing 50 years ago?
Well, yeah, it's a bit like that
nostalgia.
in Clip Studio. Yeah. Like the way they make certain
Remember
brushes in
when
Clip Studio, and it's like, they're made in order to replicate the way a brush works or whatever, and it's like, well, just use a brush.
That line work, the stipple work here.
Remember when it would be offset and you get a double image?
Yeah.
Look at
this
that
blob alien here has got fishnet stockings on.
Yeah, that's really quite awful. You see the panel to the right where the negative space on the light where he's shining the torch. No, bottom right.
Yeah.
Where he's shining the torch and the lighting on her and him, and now it's all negative space. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's just not nice.
No, she's got multiple legs too. She's got one touch back here too.
This is a bit scary.
Stockings on. Yeah. It's like Quinch kidnaps his DR's girlfriend and starts the projector. Shows him all of the DR's evil. It's incredibly stupid play, which started the brainwashed Dobbs, was called The Bleeding Heart. I could not stand by and see my pal humiliated in this fashion. Mercilessly, I started the projector.
And then she basically turns into this evil thing.
Yeah. Turns into a more vicious version of DR.
No more cleaning my teeth and freestyle square dancing. It's goodbye, Chris O'Prazier, and hello, crazy Chrissy. Give me that beer, pig breath. His face at the bottom right there.
Yeah.
No, bottom right, where he's looking at the camera. Broke the fourth wall. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So like, what have I done?
He's just looking at the reader. It's absolutely brilliant.
The caption there says, "To be absolutely honest, I found this situation amazingly unusual."
The narration from him, bearing in mind he says next to nothing. Is it all he ever says is "alright" or something like that?
Yeah.
It's just he hardly ever says, and yet it's his narration, which, with the way it's written, is very kind of somber and well thought out. Yeah,
intellectual almost. Yeah,
it's intellectual. Yeah, he says nothing. Yuck. Love that 3-panel across the top there. Or it's one panel that he's broken up. Yeah. It's great.
What gives extra focus to that gun?
Yeah.
And the answer to all
experience
these questions is an amazingly simple one. No.
Just like, look on the far left where she's having a tattoo done on the left-hand page. Far left. There. Just an inconsequential character that he's got there doing the tattooing.
Yeah.
But the lights and everything, I mean, it's just, you're in a tattoo parlor. Just because he's put some shapes on the back wall that he's looking at. And then he's created this sort of mechanical bio-machine alien. It's just totally inconsequential, and yet it's just brilliantly done.
Yeah. That last panel where he's looking at the camera again.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Russell know what I mean. It's like it's Crichton going Schmeeg. You know, in Red Dwarf.
Yeah. Oh, Smeg.
What he called his Smeghead.
I had created a demented Slaverkin's monster when I only wished to help an innocent little girl. In my experience, this is what happens when you try to be a nice guy. You?
I think this is a great example. I mean, Davis's work here is brilliant. Another wonderful example. I remember looking at this when I was younger and thinking how super slick it was, how all the lines were perfect. And they're not, of course. They're wonderfully drawn with brush and pen. And they're loose. Everything is in a place that it needs to be. And you look at it now and you just look at it and think, wow, yeah. That works, you know. Things don't have to be perfect, you know. It's just wonderful work.
Now he shows the lighting here, coming from the
I mean that's a lovely crowd scene.
Lines here.
If you actually look at the ink lines on that, it's so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah. Great work. Motion there.
A horse. Somebody give me a horse, man. Because I come to bury this dirtball, not to praise him. What do you think I am? Again, lighting is top notch. This is great. So he basically drops her in it, and they take her away because he's gonna be his mate's mate. And then at the end there, he says, "I must have instant revenge upon the murderous alien restaurateurs, but how? A thorium of my very own. You know, a kiss on the hand may be quite continental, man, but tactical thermonuclear weaponry is a guy's best friend." And the other guy goes, "It's all right."
Right.
It's just fantastic stuff. Next prog, you're in the army now. Just about then, Status Quo had a song out called "You're in the Army Now."
Yeah.
I reckon it was probably in the charts when this was out.
Yeah.
Without doubt,
probably.
that's a reference to that.
Pierre and Quinch get drafted.
So this makes me giggle. This one.
I wonder if the pencils for this were sent in to be looked at and then inked, or do you think full artwork went in?
It was weekly, wasn't it? So I reckon they just took whatever they got.
Just
Well,
got it and just put it in. Yeah.
Print it.
They probably circulated it one prog at a time around
Yeah.
until it was done. But they didn't schedule anything. They didn't print anything until the whole story was in house.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah, they had the whole thing done, didn't they? And then put it out.
And there were a couple of really long Judge Dredd serials during this time too that were like
the
25 and 26 chapters long. Yeah.
The
Judge
Cursed
Caligula.
Earth, Judge Caligula. Yeah. The Judge Child.
That too.
They went on a long time.
The best story in Judge Dredd was that guy who was the light on his truck was out. Did you see that one?
Probably.
He came out. He came out of the bar and he had his truck parked outside, and there was a drunk, and the drunk tripped and headbutted his rear brake light. So he had to go home and get it fixed. So on the way home, he sees all these judges and following him, and he's panicking because of this light, and he's knocking people over, and he puts them in the cabin of his truck, and he's driving around with about 6 dead people at the end. And at the end, he drives off the motorway and goes into the middle of the city. And the news reporter said 40,000 people died when the truck came off the flyover. all because his brake light was out.
And that
he
wasn't
kept dodging.
even the whole. That wasn't even the whole story, was it? It was just like a warm up for the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's like when he's arresting people for dropping litter, and the guy ran away because he didn't know why the judge was after him, and in the end he put him in an ISO cube for 5 years or something because of something he'd done. It's like, well, why were you running after him? It's like, you dropped litter, citizens. That's a 50 cred fine. It's just like the SNP in Scotland, really.
Sounds like the butterfly effect. Step on a butterfly, change history.
Yeah.
It just there is an effect. There's no doubt. There's a chain.
Something's going on.
My favorite story from the early days was Boing. They got little plastic in a spray can. They'd spray themselves up into a ball and then jump off of one of the buildings and bounce all over the city.
Boing, yeah. And that one of the Judge Child episodes, because Judge Dredd went off world for a while, and they were at this. It started off with it was called the Jigsaw Man. And it was effectively this disease that meant parts of you geometrically disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Until when they finally got hold of him, because I think he was a criminal. I'm trying to remember the story. All he was a pair of lips. and they just disappeared out of existence. And the whole thing, I think that was drawn by Brian Bolland, and it just absolutely fascinated me. It was just an amazing strip.
Great shot.
Look at that. That's great.
Yard. Nice shot here too. Lots of weaponry. Ink. Caught an ink stain. Sorry. Right there in the bottom of that page. Wow, so it's been a couple decades since I've opened to this page. Must have spilled some out when I was inking. It's done this set. It's weird. Anyway.
At the top there with that hat on, looks like Halo Jones type of on the other side. Halo Jones, the Ian Gibson style.
It's cool.
I like his haircut, sort of a duck's arse, as we call it.
Yeah. I was marveling at his mushroom hat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Halo Jones, but
yeah. More great line work here. All lines here. Stark lighting.
His eye blown up in the scope there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated line work there. Look at this. All detailed up. Hey man, nobody's perfect.
If you had to equate the look of Alan Davis, would you say he's wholly unique, or does he owe? I mean, do you see other parallels with other artists? I mean, overall.
No, I'd say his style was quite unique.
Yeah, quite unique. There's a little bit of stuff here and there from the folks he was working around at the period were probably a big influence on what each one was doing. So I'm sure they were showing each other what was up, what they had just done. But his layouts and his sequentials on this are just amazing. I really like he's breaking panel here. He's moving here, the over lighting, just everything's all real thoughtful on this. It's not your standard got to meet a deadline stuff.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Very pretty. That's a lot of 2000 AD though. They had enough. They had a deadline, but it was open enough because they knew they weren't going to print it until they got it in house. So I don't know how bad folks were with deadlines.
Yeah, if you think back of the quality of artwork, 2000 AD was just phenomenal. Every week was amazing. Yeah.
But again, I think that's Mills going out and finding the best of the best, or at least within whatever area. I know they had a line, I guess, that Glenn was north of.
Yeah.
That they weren't hiring anybody.
Yeah, no, it was it's become I would say that line there isn't there anymore, but it is cliquier. There's a line in a different way.
Yeah. Now we got this last page is a little more rushed here.
You reckon? Yeah.
Just a little, just enough to make deadline. Things are not as static. They're a lot more controlled here, very straight on. the majority of the backgrounds are gone here too, but they're in a dark room. So
I think they must have imposed their own deadlines, because don't forget, if he's not putting the pages in, he's not going to get paid, is he?
Right, that too.
So it might have been an open deadline, but you still got to get it done on Friday if you want a paycheck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look at him in that dress. That's funny.
Yeah.
Nice work.
It's the muscles on his arms, isn't it? Make it funny. His stomach. It's clearly mad.
Yes, it is clearly mad.
See, we're back to static again, dropping panel borders and being very loose. And
Did he ever do Green Lantern?
Okay. I'm sure he did at one point or another.
I think he did, yeah.
You might be thinking of Dave Gibbons, though. Dave Gibbons did a lot of Green Lantern.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking if he did it, because there's a lot of aliens, and in the Lantern Corps there's a lot of aliens. He would be a good Green Lantern artist.
Yeah, I could see him doing Green on.
Oh, Randy.
Alien Legion, or whatever it was. He would have been good at that.
DC's credited with Batman the Outsiders, Detective, Batman Full Circle. He did do a Legion of Superheroes number 100, annual number 6. I'll have to dig those up. Justice League, the Nail, Superboy's Legion, miniseries 1 and 2 back in 2001. Batman Gotham Knights, and JLA Another Nail, miniseries 1 through 3.
Well, he'd have done some Green Lantern if it was Justice League, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And that Nail series was very. I can't say I've read it, but I know what it basically is about. See,
look when he said, "Sorry, go
on." Superboy's parents, the Kents, end up having a flat tire, and they don't see the rocket. They get a nail in their tire. And they don't find the rocket with Superboy in it. Somebody else does. Starts a whole different universe.
Butterfly effect.
Very much. Yep.
I would like to see him. I'd like to see him do like Planet of the Apes or something like that.
Yeah.
You think he? I mean, I would describe his stuff as caricature in a lot of ways.
A lot of comics are like that, though. A lot of, especially the individualists, the guys who have their own individual styles, can get very caricaturistic.
Yeah. How you tell the story.
Oof.
I'm going to go out and buy some
soap. Insect is that? Yeah.
Wow, that looks like the Star Wars Rancor creature.
Yeah, it does. Looks like a mutated mole.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Ingrown hair, at least.
Yeah.
Rough. Sound effects are the hardest thing to do because you're dealing with sound to get them right.
Yeah. There she's back.
With a vengeance.
Scumpot. Maggot. Worm, maggot, scumpot. Just beating the heck out of DR there.
when somebody punches somebody, it's like it's in that what you were saying earlier about the sort of cartoony way, isn't it?
Yeah,
like it's funny, you know.
Looney Tune violence.
Yeah.
Comes that mole creature. Snuffle, snuffle, snuffle. More group of aliens here. I'm just going to keep turning.
You keep turning. Keep turning. Like the world.
It's a bit blurred again now, but keep turning.
If it's being recorded at Randy's end, it's probably fine when it goes to broadcast. It's probably just what we see.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is that better?
That looks good. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah.
Just has to refocus. Silly camera after a while.
Nice shoes. Got some flats on.
Did you read what he said earlier? They were going to blow somewhere up, and he said it'd be okay if I get arrested because the guards will fall in love with me. Let him go. That leg's a bit Gene Colan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some great calves.
Yeah. Dress. Look at that. Whoa. Lee.
Ernest. It's his mum.
Oh. Hi, Mom. Okay, as soon as I got little Waldo's letter asking to be rescued. What's Mama's dummy dumplings?
Wonderfully open strip. Yeah, they've gone full on in the next spread. It's just a poster. I think it's just a pin up.
Yeah.
I don't know who that's supposed to be. Is there's obviously some kind of caricature. The guy playing tennis.
Yeah.
Looks like Mort Drucker influence there. Like the crowd back here, guy's big face. Looks like Joe Kane there.
Ernest Errol QUINCH.
Yeah.
Intergalactic Tennis Tournament. Men's doubles champions.
Star laser scans. Yeah.
He's whacking a grenade over to him. Brilliant.
Life here. Sweet.
The final story in this is fantastic. It's got
Gary and Quinch go Hollywood. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant caricatures in this. So so they're not full on caricatures, they're like deformed versions of caricatures so that they look like aliens. It's absolutely fabulous.
Great looking troll there.
Yeah. Looks like the guy in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it does. A lot.
So he's written some story and he's died, and they've taken it to Hollywood, basically. They've come back and nicked it. This is so good. That bottom right hand panel there, where he's dressed up as a movie.
Oh, here?
No, this one here. It's brilliant.
Like an old time movie director.
People wandering around with monocles on and stuff.
Yeah. Going Hollywood.
You start to get some. I don't know who all these people are, but you start to get some caricatures in here.
That's Jim Belushi there.
So bottom left or the middle there, there's one. I don't know who that's supposed to be.
Almost looks like Harvey Weinstein now.
Yeah.
Not like he looked back then. Yeah.
And then you got like the Blues Brothers.
Is that Stan Lee on the just below that when you pointed at saying Marlon on the last panel?
Here.
There.
Yeah.
Is that Stan Lee?
It looks like him.
No.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Does kind of look like him. He's probably aiming for somebody else though. This looks almost like Alfred Hitchcock there.
It does there. Yeah. And you get Marlon Brando in the next one. Oh. And Peter Lorre as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Lorre, look at that.
That's think great. That guy that you were talking about in the last one that was whispering Marlon, who's on the far left of Peter Lorre there.
Yeah.
Is that like Kirk Douglas or something?
Here, you mean?
No, on the left.
Over here?
There, him. Yeah. Him. Could be Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, might be. I don't know. He kind of does look familiar. This is definitely Brando.
Yeah.
Though.
Brilliant stuff.
Without a doubt. Yeah. That sure does look like Alfred Hitchcock, though, right there.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Definitely.
Beautiful caricature, though.
You've got the paparazzi here. It's just excellent little bits of machinery here and there as well. Just great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely there.
Looks like a guy in a lobster suit.
Guy in a lobster suit. So rather than making a lobster alien, they put a guy in a suit, which I think
it looks like comical. Space lobster.
Yeah, it's a comical. It's very funny.
Yeah.
And then on the next spread, he goes into acting mode, but he doesn't say anything. That whole session on the right hand page there, where he's supposed to be acting, it's all gibberish.
Deeply emoting. But everybody says, "Brilliant, bravo, Marlon." In that script, I've never heard anything like it.
Again, really Alan Davis, where he's got that middle panel where he's reaching up.
Yeah.
On the right hand page. No, the middle panel, the middle one, right in the center, where he's reaching up to the light. That one.
Yeah.
And the negative space and everything. Beautiful line work. Very simple. It's great stuff.
No, those monsters. Towering oranges. Yeah.
It's like that whole scene where he's got like hanging white whales and it's just they're all checking in. Heavy artillery. Women dressed as giant crabs. Incredibly strange, awful, insane creatures with blow torches. Oh, that's great.
Lights, camera. Yeah, great page.
This is so funny.
There's the oranges.
Here come all the oranges. Marlon, where's the oranges?
16,000 oranges.
Oh, that's it. Mind the oranges, Marlon. That's... Oh, so good.
Hey, man, I am observing rigorous safety regulations. Yeah.
Then you go on to the next page. The oranges get Marlon. and a little word balloon where he's still uttering gibberish.
Yeah. Rubble.
Mind the oranges, Marlon.
Marlon.
This is great comedy.
So, oh no. There has to be a way to save him. Yeah, I got it, man. Way to save Marlon. Marlon, don't be ridiculous, man. Marlon's just been crushed by about 300
tons of oranges.
No, what I mean is I got the title for the film. Something oranges something.
Something.
Don't you see? Yeah.
Should be Clockwork Oranges.
It's more than just a film. It's a tribute. It's a great star who is likely no longer with us, mainly because he's like under all those oranges over there, man.
Gentlemen, this film is called Mind the Oranges, Marlon. Got everything, man. It's got tragedy.
Love this.
Human interest and all that, all kinds of stuff, stupefyingly interesting stuff like that. Man, this picture could be the biggest biggie in the whole of Bigdom. Don't be afraid to give me your gut level reaction with regard to this one, man.
After this, we have something incredibly British.
Do we?
Yeah, this is very much a British thing because we've got we had something called a film and the name of the year afterwards.
Barry Norman.
With Barry Norman, yeah, and then also on the right hand side you've got the Australian guy.
Okay. Clive James.
Clive James, that's it. And these are just great.
Barry Norman's haircut.
It's got a little bit of David Letterman work in there.
Yeah.
Great set of monsters there.
Wonderful of him on the right there. It's just
Clive James.
Clive James, yeah. That's just so good.
Yeah.
One of the monsters down the bottom.
Yeah.
I met Clive James before he was Clive James.
Did you? Ooh.
Down at Grenada, when he was just breaking through with Tony Wilson.
All right.
I was on a show, I can't remember what it was called. Mid-70s. I don't know what it was called.
Was he nice?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and Tony Wilson was fantastic. Just really funny. Just really nice people.
Yeah.
Not
heard
not stars. Just
yeah. I'd heard he was a decent bloke.
Yeah. Very funny.
Top left there, and then of course there's that scene: 16,000 oranges rolling down on slow motion upon a megastar of the motion picture industry, and he's going, "Mama, mama, mama."
Buy the oranges, Marlon. Buy the beautiful Marlon.
Look,
I love the audience saying
Trouble Tribbles.
Yeah. Milton CB Multiboon. Is it Multiboon Studio President?
And that guy, the guy that
one
they
character
thought
on
was
the
dead, that they took the story from, is actually waking up in the bottom right. They'll probably just blame it all on him.
That one character on the right looks like Karl Marx a little bit.
Yeah.
Bad alien.
I think that's Alan Moore.
Just
I think that's Alan Moore, that he's taken the story off him and pinched it. That sounds about right.
Be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I am like completely outraged. This dead guy has been lying here for an entire month since we left him. Ain't anybody think to clean him up? I don't know, man. Some people. I'm like totally resolved to write a letter to the sanitation department. Here's what I will say, man. Dear dirtbags.
Dear dirtbags.
Crazy Chrissy. I'll take my manuscript back if I may. This script is going to make my fortune when I get back to Hollywood. Hey, I can't wait to see the look on old CB's face. And he walks away laughing. He goes, DR looks and goes, hey, that's showbiz, man. This is the end, man.
Yeah. This next story, the one after, it looks to me like he's using a finer brush on this.
They go back to nature. He might have drawn it a little bigger too. It looks like it was more American.
Yeah, maybe. Although the panels on the far sides, they seem to say something.
Oh, they do. Just like Gene Day's stuff that we were looking at.
I was about to say, just like that thing we saw the other day.
Yeah. This is tighter, though. It's a lot tighter.
Yeah. I suppose they, in all fairness, they could have been added afterwards, couldn't they? So
could have been. This might have been for annual.
Yeah.
So those annuals are slightly different sizes.
Yeah, and then it's been proportionately, it's been shrunk down a bit, which is why the lines look thinner.
Yeah. The details tighter.
Now, was all this in AD?
Yes, this is probably a 2000 AD annual.
Yeah,
this story was in.
Yeah,
they do hardcover annuals once a year.
Once a year at Christmas. So it wasn't like the annuals you get in like Marvel or DC or whatever. They were proper every Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Up until recently, they don't do them now. But like, there'd be a Doctor Who annual, there'd be a Beano annual, there'd be a Spider-Man annual, there'd be a 2000 AD annual, and they were normally A4, weren't they, Glenn?
Yeah.
So they would be there would be a slightly different proportions to the 2000 AD magazine.
Yeah.
Right. And generally, when
they'd have a combination.
Those release, what month?
Once a year in December.
Yeah.
Or November.
I mean,
they were released. They were released for Christmas.
They actually drop in November.
Yeah,
they drop in the pre. Yeah. Up to Christmas, the market up to Christmas, basically.
October, November.
Yeah, about then. Yeah.
I remember TV21 annual used to have prose stories in as well.
Yeah, a lot of them
as did the Doctor Who, stories.
Doctor Do.
Yeah,
little illustrated, almost like the old pulp novel stories.
Spot illustrations in them.
Yeah. Love that. The panel on the right hand side because they've flown towards the camera on all these vertical panels, and it's just their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the vertical panel, bottom right here.
Oh, here.
Here, but yeah, they're just their faces are just funny.
Like Ensville Man.
Is that the Scouts or something?
Yeah, like the angry dinosaur here, monster. That's cool. And we have a couple of covers. There's a wraparound cover. Yeah. That's right. Like Yuletide greetings, man.
That's right.
Merry Christmas from DR and Quinch.
He's got a video down there. Mind the
I know he also did some. I think early on he did some. It might have been the Excalibur stuff, but Excalibur crossed over into Marvel Comics Presents. He at least did some covers.
Yeah. Is it in over there where they're cooking the dinosaur bird and the potatoes are running away?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Looking rather concerned. Sweet. And one last pinup. The oranges.
Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Absolutely marvelous book. Marvelous.
Fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
And the skull that he was holding up. Judge Dredd on the back. That's so cool.
That last drawing there's a bit confusing. That dinosaur head at the top looks like it's his body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a bit weird.
So they fixed it in coloring.
Yeah.
I love the way he's designed. His massive long arms. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And his long feet, his shoes.
Yeah.
Same with DR here. He's got long, elongated arms and legs. Wider feet. Yeah. Sweet.
Sweet.
That's Titan's library at the time. The books that this DR book come out. That's the different albums that they had out.
Unfortunately, I didn't get all of them. I had quite a few.
Yeah,
no
too.
Judge Dredds were hurt in the making of this book.
No. It's DR and Quinch's Totally Awesome Guide to Life, folks. Alan Moore, Alan Davis. Great stuff. I'm sure there's a printing of it still available on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at that, making friends with a pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Featuring
101
death.
uses for a flamethrower.
Featuring
Spitting.
death, extremely painful death, genocide, nuclear weapons for the home, the art of total destruction.
You'd never get that
101
out
uses
now.
for a flamethrower, yeah.
Useful hints on arson.
Obesity is fun. Spitting. How to be incredibly offensive.
101 uses for a flamethrower. Yeah.
This is great. That's the kind of stuff that it was. It was just 2000 AD was brilliant.
Pure anarchist.
It was a moment in time. That time.
Yep.
It was very, very special.
Obesity is fun. Spitting. Now to be incredibly offensive. Yeah. How to express
How
yourself
successful was AD?
At the time, it was huge.
Yeah,
it was
everything,
big.
wasn't
It was everywhere. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, it didn't get sold in America until they did the reprints. But over here, it was like lots of people bought it. Lots of people. It was a very, very popular comic.
I discovered 2000 AD in my thirst for Star Wars knowledge. I picked up an issue of Fantastic Films magazine.
Right.
That had an article of it in there, and I'm like, oh man, I got to read these.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later, I had a guy bring a bag full, grocery sack full of them. Those old brown paper bags, just stuffed with 2000 ADs. Hey, you think you want to read? You want these? And I'm like, heck yeah, I do. I think I paid him $50 for the grocery bag full.
Or reprints?
Yeah. No, the 2000 ADs, the progs. Yeah.
Cool, good stuff.
And collected them ever since.
They're pretty close.
Mine went in the bin.
They're pretty close to treasury size, aren't they? They're big. I have a bunch.
They're about the size of the National Enquirer square. Yeah. That's what they really reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to we're going to do on the Atlantean. We're going to go for a bigger size. I'd really like to do that square size, but it's going to be a pain to have it posted. So I don't.
We'd have to do the easiest way to print it would be magazine size.
Well, yeah, A4.
That's like the Savage Swords.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of going that route. I'd love to do a more square bound, but it's not gonna work. But but at least we can do the bigger A4 size. So
great fun, folks. 2000 AD. This is they've been around since 77. 2000 AD has DR and Quinch was just one side story that was, a Judge Dredd really overpowers, at least here in the state, any mention of 2000 AD, but there were so many great properties out there and great characters that they did. Rogue Trooper, Robo Hunter, Robusters, ABC Warriors, Harlem Heroes,
Slain.
Slain was great,
Rogue Trooper,
was
Nemesis.
Dan Dare ever part of that?
They did it.
They ran Dan Dare through that, but Dan Dare started in Eagle.
Yeah, but they bought the Eagle comic back, and then I think it merged with 2000 AD. So they had Dan Dare in 2000 AD for a while. Star-Lord merged with 2000 AD. So that's where you got ABC Warriors, because they used to be Robusters, and also
Strontium Dog came from
Strontium
there.
Dog, that's right. Got them from there.
One of the best,
Strontium Dog.
The Squares works just phenomenal. We'll have to look at that real close one of these days. I got a lot of reprints of that material.
Well, Strontium Dog.
Yeah.
I got myself.
I just love a Square's work. It's very much,
Yeah, again,
the only
artists I didn't appreciate when I was younger and do now.
Yeah, I hear you. The only books that I have left from that grocery bag sale is I kept the entire run of Star-Lord. I kept those. Man. Those were fun. I
loved Star-Lord. I bought myself the issue one, from a back issue shop. So
they tried a couple times to spin 2000 AD off Tornado and Star-Lord. So never quite matched the popularity of 2000 AD though. No, it's not the same. Star-Lord is as in
Star-Lord
Guardians.
No. Star-Lord is the name of the comic. They did have a character, like they had an editorial character.
Oh yeah,
Star-Lord. In the same way that 2000 AD had Tharg, which was like this alien senior editor, but they didn't actually have a character in the strips called Star-Lord. So
no, Blund Tharg Earthlets. They had Mind War in there. Yeah, go ahead.
I think what happened was.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, what happened was that they mixed the characters. I mean, anybody who knows Dan Dare, he's no more straight-laced than Dan Dare. He shouldn't be in 2000 AD.
No,
it didn't work.
It didn't work, and that's what happened with a lot of them. They mix it for business reasons, and I understand the necessity for that, but it doesn't work for the art form. And that's why these Titan books are so good, because he was discussing the paper earlier. They've really looked at that paper stock, because the people who are printing it know what it is.
Yeah.
Did Dave Gibbons draw Dan Dare?
Did it?
He was in 2000 AD.
Say that again.
Yep, he did.
Didn't Dave Gibbons draw Dan Dare when he was in 2000
Yes, he did.
AD?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
There was also Slain, that barbarian character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was drawn
Bisley.
by multiple different people. But Bisley did the most famous. Yeah, but Mahone did it. Also, I'm trying to remember who the first person was. It wasn't Gibbons. I've got the book here. Hold on.
I can see it. It's a very scratchy style to it. I'd have to run back and get my reprint book.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Is it Glenn what?
Fabry.
Yeah, Glenn Fabry.
Glenn
Yeah.
Fabry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've collected a lot of the 2000 stuff into large volumes like the Essentials or the Showcase Presents. You can find, I think, up to 25 case files for Judge Dredd that collects a huge amount of the stories all in one, like 500 pages a book. A couple of Rogue Troopers, a couple Strontium Dogs, at least one Nemesis. DR, I think they've collected like that. This is all the DR stories, though, that I know.
Yeah, I got myself one of the search destroy files, whatever they are. It's the big,
there was Robo like, Hunter as well.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Covers.
That was a great strip.
Just a black and white illustration with a flat color over the top of them. Are they the ones you're talking about?
Yeah, over here in the States, they had different covers than that. But you can get the English, the British editions on Amazon as well. You just have to keep track. The volumes pretty much stay the same. The same material from the English or the British to the American versions are pretty much the same content on the interiors, just a different cover.
Yeah. Do you look at this one? I'm holding up here. I'll start my camera.
I can't see it. You have your camera off.
Yeah, it's on now. There you go. That one.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yep. I got that one.
That's lovely work.
Just phenomenal stuff. Yeah.
That's great. I love the choice of black with the tan on the cover. It almost looks like a sketchbook.
Yeah, some of them are blue. The flesh one and Nemesis, I think, are green. Single tone.
Red.
Now,
some of them are the Dreads here in America have full color face covers.
Yeah.
It's his helmet. Yeah, there you are. It's Judge Death.
Fantastic reprint that was. Brian Bolland just doing his thing.
Yeah,
fantastic, isn't it?
So incredible. Good.
Very tight.
So
very
damn good.
Phenomenal stuff.
And when Brian Bolland did Camelot 3000, do you think that's when Eagle and Quality and then later Fleetway started to reprint the UK stuff over here in America to kind of feed the beast for more Bolland and Alan Davis and Dave Gibbons and all the UK artists that we'd not seen? Do you think that was
to an extent
conscious kind of decision to
what was happening during that period is Karen Berger kept taking semi-annual trips over to England and Shanghai is not a good word. Scalping most of the talent. And there's a great documentary called Future Shock. It's available over on Amazon Prime that covers the origins of 2000 AD, and it's got some great interview bits in there of Pat Mills, and that's one of the things that he makes mention. That he discovered all these guys. Karen Berger would come over and swipe all of these guys out because the Americans paid bigger rates, and they were American comics, which had some prestige. And these guys would run over and do Vertigo titles and work at DC and all of this stuff. And it left him pretty frustrated. And then the rights thing kicked in.
This stuff had not been seen this stuff hadn't been seen in America, I assume. And seems like that was a no-brainer just to rebrand it and repackage it and get it out to the American audience.
Well, a lot of it, they just had them. Go ahead, Glenn.
American market tried to do what DC did with Kirby. They knew he was a major talent, but when they got him, they didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
They just saw Brian Bolland and Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons and all those people as being fantastic creators and tried to channel them into what they did, which was totally missing the point, in my opinion.
They pulled Gaiman and the other English writers from 2000 AD over into Vertigo, and they spread into the rest of American comics. And it was pretty much an English invasion there for a little while.
Yeah.
Now, those artists would have been paid, right? I mean, for like the reprinting in Quality and Eagle, and I'm talking to the American rebranding and Fleetwood.
I'm not sure how that worked
for their old work being used again. Maybe no,
probably not.
No.
Well, it certainly helped them though, because it got them more seen. I know it did by me. You know.
Those
because like Randy's saying, they were already nicked. That you know, putting that out was kind of like exactly like you're saying. It was piggybacking off the back of their popularity. They'd already been stolen and shipped over to America their talent had at least in order to do the work for DC and Marvel, and then you know that all followed, the reprints all followed on afterwards. And as far as getting paid, it's like if they were creators back with those deals, then they may well have been paid. But if they were literally just doing page rates, then no, you know, it's like for instance, recently I had Doctor Who reprinted into a trade paperback. I get nothing from the pages because I did the job. I drew the pages and that's it. So, and it would have been the same for them on those. They'd have been paid for the page rate, and if they weren't the creator of the IP, then they literally just got a page rate. And if it got reprinted, then I doubt they could have got anything.
That happened to Kirby and Ditko.
Yeah.
Before the Marvel boom, so to speak, in the mid '60s, monster stories were printed over here, and I don't know, but I doubt they got paid for those. You know, they're in Portuguese and in Italian and German, all that kind of stuff.
I don't think that any of them got paid for the foreign reprints, any of them. No. But over here in the
so big.
over here in the States, they reprinted, you know, Marvel Tales had all the Ditko run and the Romita run, and Marvel's Greatest Comics ran all of the later Kirby Lee run. And they were doing a lot of reprint books over here when I was growing up, Marvel Triple Action and that kind of stuff. That's how the love for these characters really picked up. Tales of Suspense. They were doing, Double Action come out then because they were doing all of these reprints and the stories were so good. You were sitting there trying to fit them into the timeline. And eventually they started putting little tags on like Marvel Tales originally presented in Spider-Man number 39, that kind of stuff. So you were able to fit it all into the continuity. But just great stories back then. So I ran across the Silver Surfer Dr. Doom Fantastic Four story was in Marvel's Greatest Comics.
Yeah.
Just some really good
Marvel
stuff.
Triple Action started out with Fantastic Four and later became Avengers. I think it had
Avengers, Daredevil,
X-Men
and Iron Man,
there
I think.
too.
Yeah.
Well, we got all
go ahead, Glenn.
We got all the Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, Howling Commandos reprints in terrific and fantastic comics over here, black and white. That was the first time I actually saw Kirby and Ditko's work in black and white.
Yeah,
which was intriguing because, you know, as a 10-year-old to start with, I just thought the colours were put on. I didn't understand the printing process then, and to see them in black and white was a revelation to me. They looked so much better in black and white because the colours were always muddy on the newsprint, you know.
Absolutely, and that was one of the things with the 2000s too. They had somebody go through and just sloppily color the black and white material. Wasn't the same. But over here, Marvel was doing like Marvel Collector's Item Classics and Marvel Tales and that, and doing thick books with them. Those made for great reading copies when you ran across them. Even though we all knew they were reprints, but that just encouraged all the readership back then, you know.
But that was the collector's item was like 66, 67, right? I mean, that was some of the earliest reprinted stuff from Marvel.
I just looked at the. Go ahead, Rex. Finish what you were saying. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you know, like you said, there were so many like Marvel Triple Action and Double Action, and that was some of my exposure to the early Avengers and things. And I didn't like it as well. You know, you had Don Heck or Don't Hate Me, Russ. John Buscema. It wasn't the current George Perez Kirby covers and things that were out, you know, in the mid 70s that I had just latched onto. You know, it was really George Perez that kind of got me into, you know, comics, and it was his early, less refined style. And I actually prefer that a little bit. Him kind of feeling his way, you know, it's almost like a lesson you're, you know, with him. He gets a little refined towards the end of his life for my taste.
Yep. I hate to interrupt you, Rex, but I just looked at the time and we don't have much time. So, folks, you want to see our credits? Those are at the front of this. We got to talking a lot and I literally lost track of time. We have to finish this up and go. We wish you the very best. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And we'll be back next Sunday morning with a live show, 9 a.m. I think we're going to look at some Wally Wood.
Woohoo.
Some really, really great 1950s Wally Wood material next Sunday here. I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at. So stop back by.
50s.
Unless I find something great at the convention that I want to show you more. We'll look at some 1950s science fiction from Wally Wood. Cool. And just great material. Folks, we're here Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Also, Comics by Night at 5 a.m. Friday mornings. You don't have to watch us live, though. If you don't want to get out of bed, just watch us over at the Indie Comics Network, Comic Book Black Belt, and the Randy Zim YouTube channels and other platforms. Just we're archived over there on YouTube. Take a look at those. If you like what you saw here, tell your friends, like and subscribe and hit that like button. And thank you so much for spending the time with us today as we went over DR and Quinch and 2000 ADs. You'll see a lot more of those in the upcoming shows, I'm sure. So we really appreciate you being here. We love that we're the majority of our numbers come after we've already recorded these shows, and deeply appreciate you being here. Is there anything else we want to say? Buy alternative and independent comics, especially ours. Look for Devil Flyer and Hatch Annotated over at fundmycomic.com. Russ and I want to thank you again so much. If you backed the Shadow Kingdom campaign, thank you. We deeply appreciate you. I know you're not going to be disappointed because that product.
There's more coming. There's
more coming. Yep. Look for the Atlantean coming soon.
Crack that whip.
I have a minute left, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Be kind to each other. We don't need to be negative out there. If you love comics, tell people you love comics. Taste that biscuit. We'll see you soon.
Yum, yum.
See
ya.
Yum, yum.
Somebody's mic is still on. Wild. Rex, your mic's still on.
Everybody's is on. I can hear you all.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, bitch. I love this shit.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.